Good evening, gentlemen, and everybody hanging out in the chat and watching us, anybody who's popping in after the fact. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. We have an awesome and a very special show tonight. So we'll kick off introductions here. Brennan, we're going to start with you. This is Mr. Nading from Breaking Point TV. Is it Breaking Point TV or just the Breaking Point?
The Breaking Point TV. Yep.
Okay, I got that right in all of the posts and everything that I did. So another gentleman from the Breaking Point TV will be joining us in just in a couple of minutes here, Michael. Yep. Brennan, before we get started with all of that, though, sir, tell us a little bit about yourself, man. Tell us what you guys do.
Yeah, so my name is Brennan Nading. I am from Wisconsin originally. I moved to Iowa back in 2013 with the sole intent of wanting to get a resident deer tag here every year. And I went to college in Wisconsin at UWSP, which is the University of Wisconsin, Stevens Point. I majored in wildlife management, and that's where I met Mike Mansell, who will be joining us here shortly. And him and I were kind of both videoing our hunts at the time, but not really. We didn't have an end goal. We weren't really putting them out anywhere. We were just doing it because we love to do it. And Mike and I met in college, and we started hunting and filming together, and shortly after college, we started a business called Black Stamp Media, and we started producing a show we called The Breaking Point. And the first few years, we aired on national TV, just because streaming wasn't really a thing at that point in time. It was TV or nothing, or I guess you could do DVDs. So we were on TV for a few years, and then that's when streaming became a thing, and we went at that full head of steam. I think our first year streaming was 2016 or 2017, and we went from TV to drop TV, and we were on 11 different digital streaming platforms that first year. So the goal was to put our stuff everywhere, because you never know the longevity of some of these streaming platforms, and if one of them crashes, we wanted to have a backup plan. So we put it everywhere, and we've kind of, we've added some and removed some since then, platforms that we're airing on. But YouTube's definitely our big push right now. We're trying to push everybody to our YouTube channel, but we're definitely on other networks also. And it's mostly whitetail hunting, a lot of archery. We do a couple gun hunts a year, but mostly archery hunting all over the Midwest. Sprinkle in elk hunts once in a while, mule deer hunts. And then we do a spring turkey hunting series. We call that Breaking Spring. And that can be found on all of our channels too. So, yeah, we're just guys from the Midwest that like to hunt and film and drink beer and have a good time.
Cheers to that, man. I got to ask. So I got a couple of questions about that. How did you get your start in television? How did you kick that off? And then second part of that, I'm curious where you made the jump into you jumped into a bunch of different platforms. So I assume YouTube was just kind of like another one of those in a shotgun, splatter across of everything. But how was that transition?
Yeah. So when we started, like I said, the first year that we figured we had enough, because for TV, you got to have 13 episodes. And the first year, I think it was 2012, we actually had to scrounge up pretty much 2 hunts from the year prior, and we had to use some in turkey hunting stuff just to accumulate 13 episodes, because it was me and Mike and a couple other guys at that point. We all were working full-time jobs. It's hard to produce 13 episodes with 2 guys or, and then a couple other guys that are helping out. But we did it. For TV, we pretty much signed a contract to air, and it was the worst time of the year. It was Q2, which is April, May, June, when nobody's watching hunting on TV. So it was the shittiest, the shittiest air times.
Oh.
And but we just told ourselves, like, we got it. This is where we got to go. And so we did it. And Mike and I both went in debt to do it. Like, we didn't have any sponsor money, nothing. Like, nobody wanted to pay for commercial time during our show because they're like, who the hell are you guys?
Yeah.
You know, nobody knew who we were. And we did that, and we slowly dug our way out of debt and slowly started accumulating partners over the years. And like I said, TV started going down. Like, it got to the point, like, you're paying X dollars for TV time, and then all of a sudden they're sending end of the year reports and the viewership's just going down. And it ain't just our show, it's every show. Nobody's paying for TV. So we're like, well, we got to figure this out. And then that's about the time Facebook, Instagram all started allowing like full-length videos. Waypoint TV, Carbon TV, if you remember when that first came out, we were like one of the first 5 shows on Carbon TV. Same with Waypoint TV. We got our own Roku channel that we still run to this day.
Yeah, I was going to say that's where I've seen you guys is on Roku.
Yeah. So, but YouTube, to be honest with you, we were probably 2 or 3 years late to the YouTube game. Like,
Everybody is.
We missed when it was easy to grow on there organically, and I mean it sucks. I mean, if it's one of those things, like, if you knew now, or if you knew then what you know now, like, yeah, we kick ourselves over the YouTube thing big time.
I wouldn't sweat that. That's, for one, that's every single person on YouTube. That's one of the things that 100% of them all have in common is they feel like they got into it a little bit late.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, you guys you're professionals. You know what you're doing. You're going to do just fine. I wouldn't sweat that at all.
Right.
Appreciate
it. Yeah. Wild Japan saying the same thing. It always seems like it was easier 4 years ago.
Yeah, something that stands out with your thumbnail or your title, something like that, that's going to get the views. I think it was 20 bow hunts in 20 minutes. I saw that was one of your popular videos, stuff like that. Definitely.
Yep, for sure.
You get 600,000 views and you only get 60 subscribers off of it. You're like, what happened there? Yeah, for sure. It's a lot of people don't understand how important that thumbnail is. That thumbnail it'll make or break a video for sure.
Yeah. I got all kinds of things I can say about that, but keeping it on more of a, we don't have to do that. We don't have to do this, but keeping it on more of like the hunting topic. Curious how your season is going this year.
Yeah, so we just wrapped up filming our 12th season. For us, our season usually kicks off right around Labor Day. We always start the year in North Dakota. We've been going up to North Dakota now for 11 or 12 years. We go up there for opening weekend or opening week of whitetail hunting. Some guys are just there for an extended holiday weekend, hunt 4 or 5 days. Myself, I like to stay for a couple weeks if I've got a tag in my pocket still. So I hung out for about 10 days, and then it warmed up. So I went home and then went back for the next cold front, and I was able to notch a tag in September. And then pretty much we're all over. We've got guys that are in Wisconsin. Some of us are in Iowa. Some of us are in Missouri. But we hunt, all across the Midwest, North Dakota, South Dakota, Nebraska, Wisconsin, Illinois. We did not hunt Illinois this year, but I had been hunting Illinois. Made it down to Oklahoma this year. I had a Kansas tag in my pocket, but I didn't even make it down there because I was playing cat and mouse with a big buck in Iowa all fall. But I was able to shoot, where did I shoot? 3 deer. I shot, 3 bucks, I should say. I shot a buck in North Dakota, Oklahoma, and I shot a muzzleloader buck in Iowa this year. And I would say I had a bad year. I missed a giant in late November, and I still have sleepless nights over it. I don't know if I'll ever get over it.
How big you think he was?
I I'm safe to say he was in the 180s as a mainframe 10.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
A lot of mass.
He ducked my arrow bad. Like he come into a decoy. I seen him a few times in November, and every time I'd see him, he'd be locked on a doe. And on the 27th of November, I kept telling the guy who was filming me, I'm like, we just have to catch him by himself. Like if we can catch him by himself, we got a chance. And we had a decoy out, and we finally caught him by himself, and I hit the antlers together, and he came charging in, and I grunt stopped him at 30 yards because I thought he was just going to keep going and plow the decoy. And, you know, then you don't know what they're going to do. So I grunt stopped him, and when I shot, he ducked pretty hardcore, and I shot right over the top of him.
Oh,
It sucks.
dang.
Yeah.
Well, joining us now, we got Mike, also from the Breaking Point TV. Mike, it's good to meet you, sir. Thank you so much for joining us, man. Really appreciate having you here. You want to introduce yourself to everybody? Say hi.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. Sorry, I was a little late. I don't know, Brendan filled you in. I had a little bit of a situation tonight. I was outside hunting and lost my wife's pistol, so I was searching all over for it. No luck yet, but hopefully we'll be able to track it down. But yeah, I'm Mike Mansell, one of the co-owners of the Breaking Point. Been doing this with Brennan for 12, going on 13 years now. I handle most of the production side of the show, where Brennan handles most of our social media and partner relations stuff. But I don't know if he filled you in kind of as far as like our relationship, how we met or anything.
Yeah, kind of how we went to school at Point, and
Mm-hmm.
shortly after we started Black Stamp Media, and kind of the background of how we were on TV for a few years, and then jumped to streaming, and kind of just a quick run through on that.
Okay.
I got to say, I have a hard time buying everything that you're saying, Michael. You do not have enough gray hair to be wearing all the hats that you're talking about. I don't envy. I don't envy what you got on yourself with all of that work, man. That's a
Yeah.
go you.
Thanks, appreciate it.
Any chance we are going to get an opportunity to get a little video bomb from Max?
Max? Oh, not tonight. I don't have him with me right now.
Okay. Okay.
But he was originally supposed to be with me tonight, but unfortunately, yeah, he's not here.
All right. Well, then everybody who's watching, you're going to have to go check out the Breaking Point TV on YouTube. Monica, thank you very much. We do have the link to their channel pinned in the chat in there. Check them out. Obviously these guys are pros. They know what you're doing. They know what they're doing. And Max is the newest addition to the channel. He is how many weeks, Weimaraner?
He's 15 weeks now.
15 weeks.
Yeah. Just picked him up here at 8 weeks and been working on training him for shed hunting and that. And he's not ready. He won't be ready this year. He's been coming along with me a little bit, but hopefully next year he'll be ready to roll.
Yeah, it'd be neat to have a dog that could find sheds.
Yeah. He's been doing pretty good. I've been just working on him a little bit in the house. But I mean, he's getting the concept for searching for him in the house. It's just when I take him out in the woods, he really doesn't understand what we're doing quite yet. But we'll transition it to outdoor stuff here, probably springtime when he gets a little bit older, give him a little bit more of a challenge.
Have you guys seen the glasses that are supposed to make you be able to see sheds better?
Fun guys.
Yes.
Yeah. They've actually had booths. We do a handful of trade shows every year, and there's a couple of the shows we go to. They have a booth not too far from us, and it's crazy the traffic that goes past and the people that are just amazed by that product.
Yeah, I'm just curious if they actually work.
I mean, if you look through them, and I've never like used them in the field, but I've put them up to my eyes and like looked at the antlers they got laying on the table, and I don't know. I mean, I feel like you either got it or you don't. Like,
right.
That's just one of those products that people are going to buy it, that want to go find, a couple antlers a year, but I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, when you look at them on a table, they pop, but it's just a matter of, I'd like to see how they work actually in the woods.
Yeah, right. I would probably actually have more of a use of, I'm not a huge mushroom hunter, but I do struggle seeing morel mushrooms. I think those would actually probably help me personally find mushrooms, but I could be wrong.
Right. I've never looked for them, actually. So I found sheds. I've never looked for morels.
Yeah.
But there's people that do find them around here.
Yeah.
What part of Illinois do you guys usually hunt?
So we had a lease. It would have been West Central, near, trying to think, Mount Sterling, not too far from like Quinn. I think Quinn was a big town in that area. Brown County.
Okay.
Oh, and Mike hunted Illinois quite a few years ago. What part of Illinois were you in, Mike?
We had a lease in Adams County for 1 year, but it was right around when I think EHD got hit really hard in that area, and we hunted all year and we hardly had any mature bucks on the lease, so we ended up not keeping it the next year. But that's the only time I've hunted Illinois.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm as far south as you can get, just right across the Ohio River from Kentucky.
Gotcha.
What are the odds of getting you guys out for a to do what you do on the beach in Texas with a fishing rod?
You'd have to. I don't know. I'm not big into fishing. Not to say that I wouldn't enjoy something like that, but if it worked out with our schedules, we could definitely maybe consider it.
It'd probably have to be a trip where we bring the wives along with or something to get the green light on that.
Definitely.
Yeah, I would have said the same. You do. Like, if you are, I say that all jokingly, of course, because I know you guys got to do what you got to do and all of that. But if you are ever in the South Texas area, you got your wives along, you want some beach time, you have some friends in the area. We'll take care of you.
That sounds good.
Cool.
It's a wild game pursuit.
Yeah.
Trying to pin the channel here in the chat here. Apparently, I'm having some issues with that phone. Keep trying.
Uh-oh.
And we are going to have that link for everybody who's interested in the description of the video as well. So if you're checking us out after the fact, thank you so much for joining us. We really do appreciate having you here. Please consider doing all of the YouTube things, the like button. And if you don't want to miss out on more this stuff with these guys, subscribe and do all the things. What have we got? Like, what kinds of plans do y'all have? If there's anything that you can share, do you have anything that you have coming up that you're kind of excited about, or that you can share with us without spoiling anything?
I mean, nothing really out of the ordinary, I guess. For anyone that's new to our channel, we do semi-live content. We put a new show out on the channel every Monday all year long, and that pretty much showcases what we're doing throughout the year. Right now, we're just starting to get into the shed hunting stuff, so that'll pretty much take up the next month and a half. Will be shed hunting, a little bit of land management stuff, making improvements to the properties that we can hunt, and then that'll roll right into turkey season. We'll turkey hunt pretty hard for 6-7 weeks, and then it'll be right back into summer, and summertime is a lot more whitetail prep work and just getting ready for deer season, and then that rolls right into deer season. So then you're looking at solid 4 months of deer hunting content from our crew, and then obviously our main show, our turkey series. We usually start dropping that in March, anywhere from 4 to 7 episodes depending on the year, and then in the fall we usually have anywhere from 12 to, I think we've had as many as close to 20 shows, and those are more of the high end edits. Mike and Scott and Ross are spending a lot of time on those videos. The semi-live's more kind of cut and dry, just live action. But yeah, that's kind of what we got going on the channel. As far as hunting goes, I think primarily whitetail hunting this fall. Mike might do a elk hunt, but aside from that, I haven't heard of anybody doing anything out of the norm.
Yeah, the only other thing we do on the channel also is we do live hunts. This will be I think our 4th year doing it. We do a live broadcast where we have in-studio hosts, and then we have 4 live stream hunters out in the field. And we've been fortunate enough every year we've taken a buck on the live stream. And it's pretty cool. We get to do it's pretty interactive with the people watching. We do a bunch of giveaways from all our partners. It's a real cool thing. So if anyone listening wants to check that out, definitely keep an eye out for that.
Yeah, that is phenomenal. There's a trend on YouTube right now, and I think we all kind of, we're gonna probably be the first ones in on, or would have been the first ones in on this whole deal. But everything on YouTube is so flamboyant and lambastic. I don't even know. It's just everything is so out there that some of the people that I work with are seeing trends where people are beginning to enjoy more outdoors oriented content. And that might just be, something that I want to hear because of what I do and everything else. I don't know. It's entirely possible, but I feel it. I feel like there's a lot more value. There's a lot more I find it really interesting. People doing exactly what you're talking about doing a live stream out there while you're hunting. I've started doing when I'm fishing. I know that some guys have done them prior to myself. That's what got me into this in the first place. But there is just nowhere near the amount of people doing that kind of stuff that could be. So I hear that you guys are doing that, and I get tickled about it. I want in. I can't wait to see the stream. I'm going to be there in that. If you need a moderator, I got your back.
I went live. I went live during one of our streams, and it was 5 minutes before we went live. We had a real nice 9-pointer at 30 yards. But by the time we went live, he was too far to see on the stream.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a lot of moving parts between all the hunters, and then we have a guy, Scott, on the back end. He does all the actual studio production stuff. So, I mean, there's a lot, obviously. I mean, even with filming your hunts, there's a lot that can go wrong, but that even adds a bigger challenge to it. You got all the technical issues that can happen with connection and whatnot. And, but it's cool. When it does work, it is absolutely awesome.
Yeah, I did one when I first started, and I think a lot of people could probably say similar. When I first started, one of the first things I did was go out there and research all of the people that I wanted to emulate, that I was going to learn from. Obviously, Deer Meat for Dinner was one of the ones that just, was a very easy thing to find and a very easy channel to watch. Robert Arrington knows his stuff. And I started doing fishing. I started doing my fishing videos. I did that for a couple of years. I did my first hunting video just a couple of weeks ago, and it wasn't even a hard hunt. It was just culling does out of a stand. It was comical, obviously super easy. Mm-hmm. Despite that, I cannot describe how exponentially more difficult it is to film a hunting trip than it is a fishing trip. That it was intense trying to get the footage and everything I needed to make that a video. So kudos to you guys.
But you had 2 out of 3 was good shots.
I didn't sight in my gun. I had an issue with a shot. I'm a good shot, I promise you. I'm better than I looked. I was rifle hunting too at 30 yards. They were tiny deer, okay? I live in Texas. We don't get the monsters that you guys get. These guys were 30 pounds.
If you ever need deer shot in Texas, we'll be glad to come and help.
I was going to say you're going to have zero interest in deer down here. And it took me forever to be able to get myself where I could walk out on a ranch. We don't have a lot of public land, so I had to make friends with ranchers and stuff like that and befriend my way into being able to go and take some does off their land. Now, that having been said, and we can have more of a conversation behind the scenes about this if you guys are ever in the area and interested. nilgai is a thing that we have down here that is an interesting hunt, and I'll just leave it at that. Different than any hunt that you very often. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
I'm kind of interested in what type of trail cameras you guys use and what type of food plots you guys plant.
Yeah, so we've been using Moultrie cell cams now for probably the last 5 years ish. They had some issues when they first came into the cell cam game, and they'll be the first ones to admit it too. But the first couple of years we were running their cameras, we were kind of having some issues. But then I think it was 3 years ago now they came out with the Edge camera, and ever since then it's just been awesome. The cameras are great, battery life is good. No SD cards in the cameras, so it kind of deters people from stealing your cameras if you're running them on public. Because if someone steals your camera, it's going to be no good to them. So we haven't had an issue really with cameras getting stolen. And we run most of ours in video mode, and the video quality on the cameras is just phenomenal. And then to answer your food plot question, we work with a company called Domain Outdoor. They're out of Wisconsin, where we're from, and
Right.
They've got everything from Texas to Canada. I mean, they supply people with stuff you can throw it in the ground and you can bet that it's going to grow.
Gotcha. I've been looking at their stuff. They're they got the Hot Chick and a few others.
Yeah, their name, the way they name their seeds is pretty catchy. They got Hot Chick, they got Wingman, Big Sexy, like all their seed blends are kind of catchy names.
Right. So if I call them up and get a name drop, will I get a discount or?
You just might. Yeah. No, they've got a lot of good people on board with them. That's one of the reasons we kind of started working with them, is just because the people that stand behind that company, they're good people, and their customer service is second to none.
That speaks volumes to me. That's
sure.
And I have a lot of respect for that sense of humor. So little behind the scenes, little secret here. So I was, for fun, for the very first time in my life, I was distilling rum in my driveway earlier today. It was interesting. I'm not blind, so I'll leave it at that. That was the success level that I am at. But like, my sense of humor is like, okay, I'm immediately thinking I'm going to start mass producing this, and I'm going to make $1 million, and I'm going to be super rich off of my rum empire, and I'm going to call it Instablind is what I'm going to call it. That's going to be the name of my rum. So when I hear these guys, like, that's what they're naming their seeds, I'm like, my guys.
Yep.
Yeah, I've been looking at them. We just bought some property, and it's loaded with deer and got great potential, and that's what I'm looking to plant this spring. I've been looking really hard at the Domain, and there's a White House Hill or White Hill House. There's another one.
Yeah, if you ever have any questions on the Domain stuff, I'm not kidding. Like, reach out to them, and you'll talk to a real person, and they will give you real answers right over the phone. So
Cool.
Yeah, that speaks absolutely. I'm a customer service guy. That means the world to me. Okay, I got a question for you guys. What is the bucket list item? The thing that you hadn't done yet, but it's number one with a bullet. If you could do it tomorrow, it's the thing you're going to do. I know I'm putting you on the spot here pretty quick. My apologies on that.
I know Mike has more of a bucket list, I think, lined up than I do. But on the hunting side of things, someday I want to shoot a nice bull elk. Someday I want to shoot a nice, and when I say nice, I just want it to be respectable, because I just need to shoot one and done. Bull elk. I'd like to shoot a bull moose, and I would also like to eventually shoot a caribou. Them are really the only big game animals on my bucket list. And I thought maybe we did an elk hunt, Mike and myself and his cousin, probably 5-6 years ago, and we were actually successful. His cousin shot a really nice public land elk in Colorado. And I thought, from hearing other people, like everyone says, if you like chasing turkeys in the spring and like communicating with them, calling to them, they call back, that you would fall in love with elk hunting. And I didn't. Like it was a brutal hunt, and we killed a nice elk, but it was one of those things, like I definitely did not get hooked on it. But I know Mike, and Mike kind of it's in Mike's blood. Maybe he'll touch on that. He's kind of got some, family members and distant relatives that have done a lot of cool shit. And I know Mike's got hopes of, making it rain out west one of these days.
Yeah. I like similar bucket list items like Brennan said, getting an elk, a moose, just kind of touching on the family stuff. So I got one side of my family is just huge in hunting, and that's part of the reason I got into hunting. But they also have family that live in Alaska. I mean, they've shot absolutely everything you can think of. So that really like drove me to want to do a lot of these other pursuits for big game animals. But yeah, I mean, the elk and the moose is a big one. I really want to shoot a mountain lion someday with my bow. And as far as like another bucket list, like I still haven't cracked that 170 mark on a whitetail. So like that's a big one for me, and that's honestly the biggest one I've been focusing on the last few years since I moved to Iowa. A lot of my western hunts kind of took a back seat just because like I'm in the best area to hunt whitetails in the world. So it's tough to leave home to chase deer or anything when you have the caliber of deer around that you can potentially be chasing every year. But I'm starting to get that itch again to go out west, and I think I'm going to have a trip planned this upcoming year for Wyoming, hopefully.
Yeah, that's exciting to hear, and I am looking forward to that series. I'm curious though. So you're trying to break the 170. Do you do something special? We had a whole episode dedicated to this a couple months ago, and I'm curious. Do you have anything special that you do? Do you have anything that you have changed? Is there a different type of equipment? What do you do when you are at a point where you want to break a size mark like that? Are you doing anything different?
For me, two main things I would say is I'm passing deer that I would have normally shot in many years ago. This year I passed more deer from 3 to 5 years old than I've ever passed in my entire hunting career for whitetails. And the other thing I would say is I'm running a lot more cameras in a lot different areas than I normally have. Whereas like I used to just mainly stick to hunting, these set farms that I had permission on, maybe a couple private pieces, but I've really started expanding and just trying to get intel in as many places as possible. Cause like, I'm sure you guys know, like to find a deer that caliber, it's just, they're not around every corner. So once you find one, you really got to hone in. And I mean, I've had them on camera. I just haven't had a chance to kill one yet. So hopefully this year will be the year.
Right.
Yeah, it's no different than fishing. You got to cast a wider net, if you will.
Yeah.
Because I would argue that Iowa's probably got the best age structure in their deer herd of anywhere I've ever hunted. And even with the age structure there, you're still not guaranteed inches because age is not always beauty. And, even if you've got 5, 6, 7-year-old deer on the property, doesn't mean they're going to be, 170, 180 inch deer. And I'm like in the neighborhood where I hunt, I'm like the bad neighbor. Like I'm that guy that can't pass a 150 inch deer because I cut my teeth in Wisconsin chasing 115 inch 8-pointers, but I'm slowly, like Mike said, we're learning to become Iowa residents after being here for so long. And it really comes down to passing, those 3 and 4 year old deer. And some of those deer are, big deer, 150 inch, 3, 4 year old deer. And I've kind of told myself the last few years that I want to shoot a mature deer. I don't care about the inches. Like, I feel like if you have that mentality to hold out for a fully mature deer that's at least 5 years old, eventually one that's got the inches is going to walk by you.
I like that. The last buck I shot, 6.5. He was only a 130, but he was 6.5, and it'd been 11 years since I'd shot a buck because that's all I was doing was passing these 3.5-year-olds every hunt.
Yep.
So what do you think?
I was going to say I shot a deer in North Dakota a few years back, and I sent his teeth in. He ended up being 8.5 years old. He's just a shitty 7-pointer, but he's one of the coolest deer that I've ever killed, and he was just a beef cow. And I mean, I was just as happy to shoot that deer as I would have been to shoot a 170-inch deer.
Yeah,
I kind of always had the mentality like Brennan, like I'm going to shoot any mature deer that comes past me. I'm not necessarily like, 170 is my goal, but I'm not an inch person at all. I want to shoot a mature deer. This year was the first year though that like I actually had what I figure was at least a 5-year-old deer come past me. It was like the second sit of my urban season. And I let him walk. He was probably in the 130s though. And I mean, I knew he was an old deer, but it was so early in the year, and typically the property I'm hunting, a lot of the bigger deer don't show up till later during the rut. So like in that instance, I just didn't have it in me to pull the trigger on that deer, knowing like there's a good chance something bigger is going to be showing up. But normally I'd be shooting that deer 9 times out of 10.
You guys strictly archery hunt?
I mean, we do gun hunt a little bit. Us being in Iowa, we all participate in the muzzleloader season. But most of our content, if you watch our channel, I would say 85 to 90% of it is archery hunting. When we travel to other states, we're strictly bow hunting. When we go to other states, we're not traveling with a gun.
Right.
On that note, too, we had a question in the Discord server. Henry wanted to ask, what are your thoughts on using shotgun for deer hunting?
Well, Iowa, they've actually got shotgun-specific seasons. So anyone unfamiliar with Iowa's season structure, they've got an archery season. It opens on October 1st, and it runs until the shotgun season, which is usually the first week in December. And there's 4 gun seasons in Iowa. There's an early muzzleloader season in October, and then there's 2 shotgun seasons in December. One of them's 5 days long, one of them's 9 days long, and then they have what they call the late muzzleloader season, which is I think it's just shy of 3 weeks. And that usually starts right before Christmas, and it runs until January 10th. So having said that, there's 4 gun seasons, but you can only get a buck tag for one of the 4. So if I do early muzzleloader, even if I'm unsuccessful, I'm done with a gun for the year. But I mean, I'm all for shotguns. Coming from a state like Wisconsin where it's high-powered rifles, I'm all for shotguns.
Right. Yeah, this was the first year Illinois allowed a single-shot rifle.
Yeah,
that was always kind of a new one to me. But we always used like 7 mil down here. Not that I did much. We did a lot of hog hunting, not bucks. But my family grew up or my wife's family grew up in Wisconsin, and all the stories that I heard, like those guys were my introduction to legitimate hunting. And my father-in-law, he was raised on hunting with a shotgun. Like all the stories, all the bucks. We've got a couple that are hanging up in here on the other side of the wall, and that's all shotgun. And that was new to me back when I first met him, and I got to hear all the stories of hunting up in Wisconsin. And now when we're down here and people are talking about shooting with a rifle, it kind of takes me back where I'm like, oh, you can just do that with a shotgun, you'd be fine.
Right. I know way back in the day, Wisconsin, there was a lot more people hunting with shotguns and like 30-06s. It's evolved a lot since then.
Yep.
But there used to be even shotgun-specific counties in Wisconsin. I think, I'm not 100% sure, but I think they've gotten rid of, if not most, all of them now. But for quite a few years, there was one county pretty close to where I grew up with shotgun only. And they used to kill some big deer out of there every year, and that's kind of changed since then. But it definitely puts you at a little bit of a disadvantage. But I mean, with the technology now, with some of the shotguns they make, you can shoot dang near just as far as with some of your high-powered rifles.
Yeah, that's something that we've never even talked about. But you're right; it's a little bit different. I have my father-in-law's, or my wife was given my father-in-law's. I think it's a 16 gauge that he was using to hunt with, and you look at the not knocking that gun, like that's a valuable firearm to have in the gun closet in there. But man, if you look at the shotguns that you can get at Walmart, comparatively, it's a little bit different.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
We have some younger guys. I had some people in the Discord server and some people who are in the chat here. Do you guys have any words of wisdom, any insight for the younger generations, the kids who are just getting into things, just getting into hunting? Do you have any insight for those guys?
I would say just don't be afraid to make mistakes. And
like
don't
that.
don't beat yourself up over it, because I mean, especially when it comes to archery hunting, you're going to make plenty of mistakes before you're successful on shooting mature deer. Growing up, like I started bow hunting when I was 12. I think I shot my first deer ever when I was 14, but I didn't even shoot my first buck with a bow until my freshman year of college, I think it was. And then after that, I feel like things kind of evolved for me, but there's a huge learning curve, especially when it comes to archery hunting, and you're going to make a lot of misses, bad shots. You're going to get yourself in sets that are not the most ideal, and you're just going to learn from it, unless you grow up in a hunting family where a lot of stuff's pretty well set up. Like you're going to go through a big learning curve and making a lot of trial and error mistakes from it. So yeah, just don't hurt or don't beat yourself up too much, and just learn from everything when you go out in the woods.
For sure. And to build off of that, I would say one of the biggest things, and I feel like everybody in this conversation is guilty of it, don't compare yourself to what you see on social media. People shoot deer, and there's nothing that drives me more crazy than somebody that shoots a deer and has to make an excuse for why they shot what they shot. It's like, screw that. Shoot what makes you happy and be happy with it. Climb that ladder. Like, if you want to eventually kill mature deer or whatever, climb that ladder at a pace that you're comfortable with, that makes sense to you, and just forget what everybody else says.
And just adding to that, don't compare yourself to a lot of other people on social media. I mean, I'm still guilty of that sometimes too, when you're sitting in a tree and you're busting your butt all fall, and you're like, well, why isn't it happening for me yet? There's a lot of times I quit going on social media because I get sick of people posting stuff that they've shot a big deer. I mean, it can mentally take a toll on you. So just keep that in mind. Like, everyone's hunting situation is different. They're hunting different properties, different states. So it might be totally different circumstance for you, but sometimes staying off of social media and just focusing on your own hunt can be better for you.
I could not agree with that more. And I thank you for saying that and bringing that up. That's a big thing for me. So I appreciate you guys bringing that up. That and my two cents on that whole topic too is like, I don't do a whole lot of trophy anything. Like, I don't do trophy fishing. I don't do when I go hunting. It's all like, I'm a meat monger. I want to put meat on the table. And talking about some of our prior conversations, I would probably take, like, I'm not even worried about buck tags or anything like that, but I will take my my weight in gold on does all day long, because I want meat in the freezer. So that's my approach to that whole conversation too, is like, go out there, get your does, get meat on the table, and then like you said, Brennan, work your way up the ladder towards the towards the big ones that you want.
Yep.
Be my 2 cents. It is that time, gentlemen. So we have a thing that we do every week. We collect all of the photos from everybody who has been out fishing and hunting over the course of the weekend. We collect them all on the Discord server, and we bring them up at the end of the show here so that we can take a look at what everybody's been doing. And then we have a little vote to see who was our photographer of the week. And it's that time. We need to pull those up. If you guys want to join us for that, it'll be a couple of minutes.
Sure.
Yeah, I was expecting to see some last minute bucks coming in, but I haven't seen any of this.
I was too with the conversation. There's always a bunch of people who are trying to post while we're live, and I can't update the slides. But yeah, I didn't see those either. But these are the guys who got their photos in on time. So these are our photos of the week. They are brought to the live stream via the Premier Fishing and Hunting Discord server. There is a link to the server in the description down below. If you have not joined us, you really need to do so that we can enjoy vicariously through you all of the things that we are all doing together here. Kicking things off, we've got our guys who managed to get outdoors and get themselves fresh air. Wild Japan, who had a live stream last week where he was hanging out with the swans.
I actually caught that live stream, and it was pretty sweet, man. He was catching the swans. He would turn the camera and catch them locked up coming in. It was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Some pintail ducks swimming around. Beautiful spot.
Wild Japan, you need to keep doing that, man. That was a fun stream. And then we got Bailey, G Llama, and Michael. Again, the guys who got outdoors and got themselves some fresh air.
I'm a sucker for that sunset shot from Bailey.
Man, I hear that. I'm not sure. We're going to see more from Bailey here in just a minute. Bailey and Mike, well, all three of these guys, we're going to see more from them because they all had successful trips out there doing that. But they all took some time to take some pictures in Tarum.
You can see the duck decoys in Bailey's on the water.
Yeah.
He's got some good duck hunting, duck pictures coming up.
Yeah. Gib Noob getting out on the ice, man. Getting himself some walleye.
Good eating there.
Yeah, I got turned on to that courtesy of my family up in Wisconsin. I'm a saltwater guy, so it was only a couple of years ago that I got into walleye. I was actually on a fishing trip with Grant and a couple other friends of ours. Got my very first walleye just a couple of years ago.
I like the bed.
Turned on to it.
The cotton there, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a sweet sound. It's like working well for him.
20 by 20 tent.
That wood floor. That's like the floor in that thing is better than the floor I have in my house. And I installed this floor.
Very nice.
And I am Sammy, who was in here just a minute ago with his first muskie. Pickles and Moneybag getting themselves some ducks.
It looks like a pair of ringnecks and hard to tell. I think it was some teal maybe.
I just like the name Pickles.
Pickles.
Yeah. Pickles is actually, he won last week. He's our current photographer of the week. There he is. What's up, Sammy? Got it on a tip up.
Very nice.
You got me beat, man. I don't have a muskie under my belt yet. My wife has a good, I want to say it was like a 40, 45 inch muskie. And then she's also got a tiger. Yeah, she's put in like 100 casts. I am well over the 10,000 casts, and I haven't got my muskie yet. I'm just waiting for it.
I've only caught one, and I wasn't even muskie fishing for him. The only one. Every time I've gone actually fishing for him, I haven't caught him.
That was my wife. We were actually going after walleye. And she got him.
Yeah, good job on the ducks, Pickles. Good shooting.
Coming, man.
Yeah, today was our last day of duck season.
I think it was his too.
Bailey, congratulations on the Buffalo Head Drake. Beautiful. He posted in the server the position he was going to get. Congratulations. That's a trophy right there.
That's a sweet picture too. Again with the sunset.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or sunrise, I guess. It could be either.
Yep. Yeah, congrats.
And also congrats, Skunk Toucher, getting your first fish of 2025, man.
Very nice. Pretty bluegill.
You know, we got this guy, I guess, I don't know about, so EURX, they're new. I think that's a peacock. I think it is. And then Coldwater getting out there, getting their first fish of 2025 and just loading up on the perch.
Nice.
Heck yeah.
Oh, Pickles is saying his last day is Sunday, getting ready for spring turkey necks. That's right. I remember you talking about that.
Okay.
Looking forward to seeing that, man. You know, we got Mino with catfish out of the ice. I hadn't seen that one before. And Bacon Rider. We got a lot of ice pictures. I'm out of South Texas, so I don't know much about this whole ice thing.
Looks like a party.
Yeah,
Right.
I'm assuming they're all sitting, all those trucks are all parked out there on the ice. That kind of scares me a little. I know they can probably handle it, but. Oh, yeah, he's saying it was 8 inches of ice they're all parked on. Then we got G Llama out of Australia. He didn't land it, but he got himself, I think he said it was like a 6-foot eagle ray. And I can't pull up the video because video just doesn't work well on these live streams. You got these screenshots of this video, but man, his line was screaming.
Yeah, I watched the video.
Server.
I watched the video. His line was just, it was taking drag.
Mm-hmm.
What's up, Nick?
What's up, man? Because his buddy went through the ice side by side the other day. That sucks, man. I'm sorry to hear that. Is he all right?
Yep. Got to be careful.
Yeah, yeah. And then we got Michael and Nady Matey. Nady Matey, that is a stud drum, buddy. You got yourself a good one.
Big one. Nice first bass of the year for Michael.
Mm-hmm.
You guys look at these southern fish and you know what they are and you know if they're nice or not. And I'm like, what the hell is that?
Dude, yeah, I get the same way about all that. I'm lucky. I'm out of South Texas. So anytime we have somebody from Australia or Norway or something and they're posting a fish, and I typically a freshwater fish that I just completely don't recognize, I have the ability of being out of Texas where I can just call it a perch because everything's a perch in Texas. That's the trick.
Lisa.
Evening, Miss Elliott. And gentlemen, that is it for our pictures of the week this week. Currently, this is our 2025 Wall of Fame, and it is that time for us to now add another picture to the Wall of Fame. Our options this week are going to be I Am Sammy with his first Musky, Bailey, and Nady Matey. Cast your votes now in the chat, and let's see who is going to get added to the 2025 Wall of Fame. I am going to go with... You know, we got I Am Sammy in the chat.
Yeah, if it wasn't a trophy bufflehead, I'd vote for Sammy. I've got to go for B. Sorry.
Yeah, I would agree.
I'm going
okay,
B
I
also.
don't disagree with that. You know, one thing I'm also going to add to this, I am going to get myself a nice drum. I don't know if it's going to be bigger than Nady Matey's, but I definitely want myself on the Wall of Fame and not him, and he's not here to defend himself.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go Sammy on this one for my vote. Let's see, we got counting up votes now.
Yeah, so since duck season went out today, the lake will be opening back up for crappie fishing. And we're supposed to be in the 50s the next couple of days, so it should thaw out. So hopefully I'll get out for some crappie fishing next week.
Dude, good luck on that. I'm looking forward to seeing it. I'm going after sheep's head myself tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be the weather day. Hopefully the sheep's head are in. I went out last weekend, tried to get some. I fished my brains out, and I got skunked. And as you know, I was on a 3-run streak.
Right.
So that really bummed me out that I got skunked. But whatever, it's fine. I'm going to go get them tomorrow. Guys, everybody in the chat, you have about 30 seconds before we count this thing up. Right now, we have I Am Sammy's got 3, Bailey's got 6, and Nady Matey's got 1. So if you're going to cast a dissenting opinion, now is your chance. Make it happen.
Yeah, I've been looking for some sheds already, but all I found was a broke. But I've been seeing bucks. They're back grouped up around here.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very. They're just now starting to lose them. Where we're at, it should get pretty good here in the next 2-3 weeks.
Better have some friends come in here pretty quick, Sammy and Bo.
Sammy, you got it there. Monica, appreciate that.
Yeah, we usually take a drive just about every evening, take the dogs for a cruise, and head out to the farm to see what the. I'm running Tacticams, and we drive out there to see what the cameras are missing, because I'll need about 10 of them or more to keep it all covered. It seems like they know exactly where the cameras are to miss them.
Yep.
Yeah.
But so far, other than Brokes, we've only got one missing one side.
Yep.
I tell you what, this is what we're going to do. We're running a little bit short on time, and we have a tie. I Am Sammy came from behind because of his plea in the chat in there. It is now tied up. I Am Sammy and Bailey. And because of the just immense wealth of people that we had on the Wall of Fame last year, I am going to pass this vote along to a poll in the Discord server, and we're going to let the Discord server decide between I Am Sammy and Bailey. We're going to see there who gets to who's going to be the winner of this one. The first time we've ever done that. I'm going to call it on the fly here. Congratulations to all 3 of you guys for getting some excellent catches. We appreciate seeing it. Thank you so much for posting those. I look forward to seeing who is going to be the one walking away as the winner. Also, special thanks to our waitlister awards. Those are the guys who like to drive me completely nuts by posting so many pictures. It drives me up a wall. That's Pickles, Bailey, G Llama, Gibnoob, and Wild Japan. Appreciate you guys, and thank you to everybody who joins us in the Discord server. I look forward to hearing the votes cast and the polls for these guys as soon as we are done with this stream here. Oops. Now, let me get the screen all set up to where it's not saying. There we go. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Really appreciate having you here. Do you have anything for us? Anything that you can tip us off to as to what you're going to be doing this weekend, or anything exciting that we can be looking forward to seeing from you in the near future here on the channel? Gives us a chance to put some links in the chat one more time.
Mostly just shed hunting stuff. I know Mike's probably got some plans of walking in the next, couple weeks. I've got plans of getting out and doing some walking, looking for sheds. And then, like I said, we got turkey hunting content coming down the pipe in March. And it's just, if you find us on YouTube, it's just the Breaking Point TV. Find us on Facebook and Instagram at BPointTV. And we try to keep everybody in the loop as real time as we can with what we've got going on throughout the year and what we're up to.
Awesome.
I'm looking forward to seeing it, and you're going to be seeing a lot of comments on a lot of videos in the near future here. So be ready for it. My ego requires soft words and everything every now and then. So I need a little encouragement when I'm out there blasting does.
Yep.
And let me pull up my thing here. All right, gentlemen, again, thank you so much. We really, really appreciate having you here. Looking forward to great things from you in the coming year. And good luck to you guys on the YouTube channel. Everybody in the chat, thank you so much for coming and hanging out. Hope you have a wonderful night, and we look forward to seeing you guys when we do this all over again next Tuesday. Good night, guys.
Have a great week.